What's going on, guys? Welcome to Charge It to the Game. I'm Ben Cary. Joining me, as always, is Krabs. How we doing, man?
You're doing better than me. I'm still here breathing, though. We're doing okay. Broncos country. Let's ride. Russell Wilson having his first good drive as a Bronco. How about it? Not game.
We rode.
I mean, I don't know what the heck is going on with that team. They got it done, though. Jimmy G. Shout out to him pulling a little Dan Orlovsky. Me and Zach were talking about it. It might not have been as bad, but sure as how close. Made my take of saying Jimmy G's taking this team to the playoffs. Probably a little bit of a cold one. Might find my way on freezing cold takes for the second time this year. We'll have to say.
Yeah. It was an interesting game, though, for the Broncos, to say the least. That was one of the ugliest wins I can remember in a long time for Denver. That was insane.
Yeah. Got it done. I can't believe I had a ticket on the over in that game. That was dumb. But it is what it is. Maybe every primetime game will go under. We'll see.
I mean, what is it now? I think only
9-2.
Yeah, 9-2, something like that.
It's absurd, man.
Yeah,
absolutely absurd. But I'm glad one of us got to see our team win yesterday. That was good.
And what was going on with your Commanders, man?
Our O-line is toast. Chase Roulier, our center, who is a top 5 center in the league, extremely underrated, younger guy, not a big name. The dude's a dog. He's out for the year. So our O-line, it was already kind of, duct taped together, really got destroyed. We give up 9 sacks, which I can't tell you the last time we or a team in the NFL allowed 9 sacks. That is unbelievable. That is unacceptable. And if you have 9 sacks, that's not just all in the O-line. That comes down to Carson Wentz not being able to adjust and realize that, they're getting to you. You got to get that ball out quick. He was holding the ball way too long, looking to do too much. And we looked terrible. I mean, Zach was telling me that at one point we had -1 passing yards in the game. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I was unfortunately on a Logan Thomas prop, and I'm like, is he even in the game? I think he had a catch finally in like the third or fourth quarter. But
I think he had a catch with like a couple minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
Yep. That was maybe the worst, stupidest game ever. I mean, there was more Eagles fans there than Commanders fans, and they were loud. And I was wearing a Carson Wentz jersey, and I was getting absolutely roasted, and I couldn't even say shit back. I couldn't say anything back. I had to just absolutely eat it. I mean, people were coming up to me saying, "You're going to get a refund for that." My response was, that guy took your team to the playoffs, and then you end up winning the Super Bowl. Have some respect.
Yeah.
But I could only say that so many times. I mean, they don't give a shit.
You're right. You're like, I've said this already.
They literally did not care. They thought it was hilarious I was wearing his jersey. And he played like absolute dog shit. I think he was more worried about playing against the Eagles and, dapping up his old teammates before the game, hanging out with them. We talked about how great of an experience that was. So I'm glad he got that under his belt. That's really cool for him. But he played like shit. That's the Carson Wentz that Eagles fans were talking about.
The two sides of Carson Wentz, man. When he's on, and when he's off, he is really, really off.
Let me also get one thing straight, though. Our defense played terrible. Our wide receivers had copious drops. I mean, Terry and Dotson had terrible drops, and they never dropped the ball. So it was everybody. Our O-line played terrible. The only thing that was good was our special teams. Our special teams looked great. They were flying around the field, so that was a W. Everything else, absolutely atrocious. Not good.
I'm just looking at next week. They play the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'll actually be there, which is a W.
You're going to be there?
I'm going to be down there. Yeah.
That's the Jerry world.
Oh,
Krabs,
Zach.
there we go, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Zach. Thanks, brother.
Sorry.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
There it is. That was probably in like the fourth quarter. When was that?
I can try to find out. 3:18 p.m. Yeah, it was late third, early
fourth. Yeah, that's nice. That's good. That sums up the Commanders, I think, to be honest with you. I mean, being a Virginia Tech and being a DC sports fan is literally like I should be able to go to therapy for free. That's just the worst combination of all.
You just have to show your ticket after the game, and
I should show my ticket. Yeah, if I go to the games and I show that I'm a true fan, maybe I have to show up in a jersey, right? Maybe they quiz me on some questions about the team when I get there. I come with my tickets, and I get to, write off my therapy session, because that's what I'm going to need to go do after watching my sports teams play this week. Holy
it's like
shit.
when you go to an NBA game and they make a certain number of free throws, and then you bring your ticket and you get a free pizza or like free combo or whatever. That's
literally.
Nick, you might be honest.
Shows up in his Wentz jersey and his ticket to the Commanders game, and they're like, right this way, sir.
Until the therapist is like, actually,
local therapists and see if I can work on some sort of promotion or deal with them.
Perhaps the therapist is going to say, like, actually, I actually can't help you there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Here's the solution: either stop watching sports or pick new teams, because these ones aren't changing. They're run by the biggest clowns of all time. Hey, there's rumors going around, just like there are literally every year, and then nothing happens. Dan Schneider is going to be forced out of his spot. We've heard this every year for the past, 3 or 4 years. Nothing's going to happen. He's going to finagle. He's going to weasel his way out of it like he always does. And we're going to continue to lose and be a terrible franchise. And then I'm going to continue to spend money on him. That's the vicious cycle. It is what it is. I don't have a damn choice,
Yeah.
Brutal.
Let's talk a little bit about the dogs. Went 8-6 outright. I was talking to my guy Maddie, who's betting all underdogs every game all season. Dogs are up 5.5 units on the season. They went 8-6 on Sunday.
Yeah, and we got to clarify too. Like, a lot of these underdogs were, plus 1.5, +1, +2.5. So
yeah,
the lines were tight this week, which hence why it was so tough in Survivor, right? But shout out the Bengals, by the way, for a no sweat Survivor pick for me this week.
Yeah,
but
finally doing what we thought they should be doing to some extent, right? Jeez.
Yeah, they were like the only team that really did what they were supposed to do. They finally did it. And we're going to talk about the Bengals a little bit more in a little bit. But I did have the Bengals and the Vikings parlayed, ML, one of the squarest plays I've sent in a while.
Wow.
And I was punished. I was punished for it mentally, although I did get lucky in the end. Shout out Kirk coming through there. Justin Jefferson is a ghost. I don't even know if he was at the game.
Yeah, what is he?
Thanks, because he's on all my fantasy teams.
He's gone missing since week 1.
Yeah, he hasn't done shit the last 2 weeks. It's been really bad. And I drafted him very early in a lot of my leagues. So, nice.
I'm in a Survivor league, and this was one that I had. Who did I have first week who lost? I can't even remember. I'm knocked out, but there's only 7 people left out of 127.
Holy smoke. It's been a crazy year in the NFL. It reminds me of like when I bet on the fucking Premier Lacrosse League when all the underdogs win. That's literally how the NFL's been so far this year. Dogs are barking. I'm not complaining about it. That's probably why my record's been so good in the NFL, and I hope it continues. We've seen so many unders though in prime time, and I love betting prime time unders in football. This game tonight, and we'll talk about this game tonight, but I think the under might make a little too much sense in this one.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that one. And then the last thing here, we touched on the Eagles a little bit, but the Dolphins too, 3-0, man. Big game last Sunday against the Bills, getting that dub.
Jack your fins, man. Incredible. Putting Tua back out there with the concussion. They didn't give a shit. Reminded me of the video. I mean, you guys, I'm sure have seen it. The XFL clip of that quarterback. I forget his name. Gosh, but when he went back in after being concussed, or they interviewed him, and he was like, "Do I have a brain? Yes. Or do I have a pulse? Yes. Then let's go out there and let's play football." Like, after the biggest hit I've ever seen in my entire life. That's literally what it was.
Dude,
and they're being investigated now about it. I don't know what the heck's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't really know like what they do in that kind of situation when they're launching this investigation, because I mean, watching him on the field was like, I was watching it live, obviously, and I'm sitting there like, yo, he's done. Like,
he was
that guy had
over himself. He was falling over.
He immediately had spaghetti noodles between his ears right after he hit his head. And it was just like, he didn't know where the ground was and stuff. And it was kind of scary watching him do that, because you don't ever want to see anybody get injured. And in any type of situation, those are just, there was one in college on Saturday too. I don't know if you guys saw that hit.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah. And that one was way worse in terms of his immediate reaction after, but it's like, seeing that happen, you're going, okay, well, he's done for the day, obviously. And then you get the news that he's coming back, and he's coming back like pumping up the fans and stuff. I'm like, dude, what is going on right now?
I don't know what he did in the locker room, but he looked to be absolutely locked in when he came back out.
Yeah, he did.
And why it's really complicated is because they have that independent medical team that's supposed to be like literally they have like 3 or 4 people in the booth who have like all these cameras, and they also have binoculars, so they're like fucking just like watching the game the whole time. And first of all, that would kind of be a shitty job. You can't even enjoy the game. You're like trying to like make sure no one's concussed on every play. Literally their job. And then if you miss something like this, like someone's getting fucking fired. Like this is a fireable offense. Someone is getting canned. And the whole reason why they launched this like independent medical team is it's just an NFL cover your ass type thing, because they don't want the players coming back around in like 5-10 years and like being like, oh, we all have CTE. The NFL is going to be like, well, here's what we did. We started calling more flags, protected the players, medical investigation. Like they're going to say, we did all these things. I don't really think Roger Goodell cares about the players' well-being as much as some of these may think he does. It's just more of the cover your ass type thing, so the NFL doesn't
give a shit. And you know what? Tua doesn't give a shit. I'm sure he was begging to go back in, whether he could actually think or not. I'm sure that the Dolphins wanted him to go back out there, and I'm sure they were doing everything they could. I'll tell you one thing, though, man. Mike McDaniel, I was kind of gassing him up last week on here. I mean, I think this guy's legit. I think this coach is another guy coming from that, command Washington coaching tree where they just leave and become, the smartest, youngest, best young coach in football. It's incredible.
Yeah, he's a Colorado dude, and
you can tell he's a Colorado dude.
Yeah, Colorado has some good head coaches right now. We have Kyle Shanahan, we got McDaniel, something in the air, if you know what I'm saying. But Zach, real quick, your point. I know what you're saying about those concussions, because in like the last 2 seasons, we've seen a guy, if he was to do that, we're like, oh fuck, he's out.
Yeah,
like, he's done, right?
It's not even a question. Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah, like I was honestly, that he wants to come back in. The Dolphins want him to come back in, but it was one of those ones where I was genuinely shocked after watching him fall over on his own feet to come back into the game, because it wasn't like he got up and it was like, oh, like I'm not feeling good or whatever. He grabs his head. It was like he barely got up. He stumbled immediately. Then he fell over, and then it was like, all right, well, that's it. That's done.
Yeah, weird.
And with the head, like, and even this isn't what they're saying, but Sick Money says something about Herbert, and it just reminded me is like when someone gets injured on any other part of their body other than the head, it's like, okay, maybe he'll come back in, and you don't immediately rule them out. With the head, especially where the NFL's trended to, it's just like you kind of automatically assume that that's it for them.
100%.
So hopefully he's okay, because this Dolphins team is legit, in my opinion.
I mean,
they're
he
sick.
threw like a 70-yard touchdown like when he came back in. I don't think he'd be able to do that if he was concussed, right? All jokes aside, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a concussion. If I did,
I would lean to the side of you're right, but I've seen some weird. There's levels of concussions, but again, it shouldn't be that way. It should be very black and white. So, and yeah, there's the college. Yeah, we were talking about that. Smaller. It was a smaller school. I forget what school it was, but man, he jumps up, and he's an agile, quick, I think, receiver, and he was 100% knocked out, and he was trying to like walk around. It was pretty bad. Let's hop on into some categories, Krabs. We got some good stuff to discuss. Let's get into the first category, tweets that trigger us.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
I've never seen you mad.
I get paid.
Why are you in such a bad mood?
What do you care?
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
All right, it's tweets that trigger us. We have a few that we want to discuss. The first one, I think I sent to Krabs. What was your reaction? Was it G? I forget what you said, but it was so funny when I said this. Man, the rumor
to the Commanders rumor.
Yeah.
So, a couple of things about this. Funny timing that this would come out, the morning of the game, that Carson Wentz is playing in, especially, the morning of a game where he's playing against his old team that he loved and wanted to be on, for the first time again, right? So crazy timing that this report comes out. I will say Ron Rivera addressed this after the game and said it was a bullshit report. Do I believe him? I don't know if I believe him or not, because even if it was true, he'd want to make it seem like it wasn't, to make it seem like they were all in on Wentz and they trust him, right? They don't want to make it seem like they were thinking about other guys, or, that they don't have full trust in Wentz. So even if it was true, he's not going to say it was true. I said in the whole offseason, I wanted to get Jimmy G. That's the guy I wanted to. Now, Jimmy G last night looked interesting, to say the least. He looked like the kind of guy that got replaced by Trey Lance for a reason. He's like two different guys sometimes. So I really don't know. Like, is there even a difference between having Wentz and Jimmy G? Like, does it even matter? Those guys both kind of stink, and both guys are not probably going to take us to the Super Bowl, because we don't have Shanahan and an entire 49ers stacked team to kind of carry the weight, right? So I don't really think it matters that much, but pretty wild how things could have been a little bit different. I've been extremely impressed with how Wentz has looked through the first 2 weeks. He was not the issue, but this week, man, he looked like he didn't even belong in the league. Straight up, I would have taken Jimmy G stepping out of bounds, eating safeties. That still would have been better than Carson Wentz, what we got out of him this weekend. Brutal. I just think he's not really fully there up here. I don't think he's that strong. And he's just kind of a beta. And whenever he's in a spot where stuff matters, like a must-win game last season against the Jags or against his old team, he just kind of folds like a $1 lawn chair and sucks. So I'm done with it. All false hope that I had about this team is officially dead, and we're back to normal, right? Unbelievable.
Yeah. When you put it that way, I think you're right. It doesn't move the needle, really.
Does it even matter if you plug in Jimmy G to our team? Like, we honestly probably would have played worse the first 2 weeks or lost by more, because, I mean, what more could have Wentz done week 1, week 2? Week 3, both guys look like shit. I think we probably put up 8 points or less with both guys in that game. I don't think it matters. It's literally like we're deciding between which shittier quarterback we'd want, and who cares? Unfair judgment on Wentz because the Eagles have the best roster defense in the NFL. Like I said before, my man, like you don't get sacked 9 times and have that be the offensive line's fault the whole time. Read the room, see what's going on around you, and realize that your line sucks, and get the ball out quick. Don't be waiting 7 seconds to throw it, because you're going to get sacked. And that's what happened over and over and over and over again. It was so embarrassing last night. So embarrassing.
My kind of opinion on like the Jimmy G versus Carson Wentz situation, especially if he were to have ended up in Washington, is one of like Carson Wentz at least gives the Commanders the opportunity to be very bad and finish very low in the standings and likely have a significantly better draft position, versus if you have Jimmy G, is he going to push the needle in terms of bringing the Commanders to a competitive spot and actually jump into a playoff spot? No. But what he would probably do is put the Commanders in a position to be sniffing around and have a much worse draft position. Because they would, I think he's not an incredible quarterback, but he's good enough to probably win some games that he shouldn't, or put them in games that they shouldn't be in. And he could do that more frequently than Carson Wentz can, which just ultimately hurts draft positioning, because then you're going to be, because Krabs, you know what's going to happen then? If Jimmy G was here with you guys, you'd have false hope the whole season and you'd be hanging on the whole year. Whereas at least after week 3, you're like, well, let's run it back next year.
They would have lost by a touchdown or maybe 10. And Krabs is coming on here. He's like, man, just a few more plays and we're right there. You know?
Yeah. You know what's going to suck, though, is when the Cowboys end up somehow winning tonight, and then people start talking about how the Cowboys are back for some weird reason because they're the Cowboys.
Cooper Rush.
And then I have to fucking bet on the Commanders again this coming Sunday while I'm there. Again. Micah Parsons gets 17 sacks. That's the record. Most sacks in a game.
It's Michael Parsons flu game today.
It's
Apparently,
coming. Interesting. He's got the flow. People are saying
that's what I heard on the Twitter sphere. So,
well, that's not good because I haven't heard much about this game tonight. I don't think people know what the heck's going to happen. But that's not a good sign if you wanted to take the Giants, because I think that whenever I hear that bullshit, the guys end up coming out and playing fine, if not even better.
exactly. Yeah.
And then another L is that everyone on earth is on Saquon Barkley props today, acting like he's going to go off for 400 yards. So if I initially wanted to take the Giants, I still might, but not good. Not good talk so far.
Yeah, I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to get a touchdown tonight.
Okay. Has he gotten one yet this season?
Type of pick. Not a lot of analytics behind this one, but I just feel like they're going to try to get him the ball in the goal line situation.
He gotten one yet this year?
No. Pollard's been stealing, about half the.
Yeah, I can see him getting in there.
Which he should be. Pollard's look good, man.
What are we looking at here?
Zach there?
Yeah, we got plus 150 Ezekiel Elliott anytime touchdown.
I wanted like 2. Man, that sucks. But maybe they're trying to tell us something. I don't know.
I'd be down to lock that in for the charge it accounts. I think that hits too. And this is about the time this week, next week, where I try to target guys who haven't gotten in the end zone yet, because I feel like teams, try to start feeding their guys who haven't been eaten, who had great years last year. We saw the Falcons try to feed Kyle Pitts on Sunday, and even though that was a public play, shit still cashed, in the first quarter. I'm pretty sure he's receiving that cashed. So I honestly might sprinkle on that too tonight. Plus 150, Zeke to get in the end zone. I mean, he's not going to get the whole season without scoring.
I'm down to do it at plus 150. Let's do it, Zach.
All right. Can you lock that in right now?
Also down to lock in Aaron Judge under home run tonight.
Hold on, real quick. There's no FanDuel. Oh, no, FanDuel has 150. Okay. FanDuel's been having some of the best prices for touchdown props lately, so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I don't really know why, but Zach, we've been picking up on that, right?
Yeah, on the Friday player prop show, it's been very weird in terms of how much better they've been. It's not just a couple cents here and there. It's been 15, 20, 25 cents better than market on a lot of props that we found. A lot of props.
I'm geeking at chat. Joey Manassas giving 400 mil. I'm down. We can't let him walk. Don't let him walk. Joey Bonds. Dude's a stud.
All right, Krabs. Next tweet. What do you want to go to here?
Let's go to the second tweet. We got some college football talk. We got Mr. Rules guy who must have tweeted this. I think he was a student at VT, so I was a little disappointed. Freaking out about how there's too many students, in the crowd here, overpacking it. I mean, to be honest with you, this is what college football is all about. It's all about, the students, bombarding the gates and sneaking into the games if they don't have a ticket and figuring it out. This is what I grew up watching. This is what I grew up doing. I think it's a crock of shit. Plenty of room in Lane Stadium. Pack that puppy up. Let him get up there. The whole thing's bullshit. I mean, look at that, though. It's nuts. But is that really a problem? Come on now. That's heart. With the shitty football program on a game on Thursday night, I'm happy to see people there. There's schools, and I've talked about this with my buddies. How bad our program is such a waste because we have such a good fandom for no reason, to be honest with you. Hokie Nation is way too loyal with how bad we've been and how little we've been good. We've really only been good for about 15 years total, from Vic to Logan Thomas-ish. So I think this is totally fine. I don't know why this kid's freaking out. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. And I had no issues with it. I think this kid needs to stop being such a rules guy, to be honest with you.
They had something like this happen at the Colorado game 3 weeks ago.
Same that shit happens every game in Lane Stadium, literally every week.
VT also has the best intro in college.
Without a doubt.
Not even college sports, probably all sports.
Maybe all sports, literally.
Yeah.
It's absolutely electric. If you don't get chills or at least watch that and be like, holy shit, you're not a real sports fan.
You guys also, I feel like you don't, not a knock on you, but I feel like you don't realize how lucky you are for college sports. To me,
100%.
to go to my university's homecoming football game like I went the first year when I was in first year because I was like, oh, like this will be cool. There's 500 people there. And so after that, it's like, what are we doing? Like, I'm not going to this again. Like, I'm wasting part of my homecoming day to go and watch this shitty football game where these guys are going, like maybe 5 of them are going to the CFL. Like, and there's no atmosphere. Nobody cares. Nobody even knows the team is playing. And then like both my sisters go to school in the States, and I've got to go down there and watch their hockey games. Like, they have a Division I hockey team there, and like the men's team is actually sick. And the whole rink is just packed, like every game.
Did they go to like Minnesota Duluth or one of those like 6 really good hockey schools?
They go to Quinnipiac.
Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I went down there one time, and it was like the first game I went to, preseason game, not even regular season. Packed barn, like full chants, everything just rolling the entire time. I'm like, man, you go to the school I went to is Western. You go to that hockey game, there's like maybe 25 people in the stands. The only reason I was there is because my buddy was on the other team, and I went to watch him play. So yeah, you guys are really lucky in college sports.
But my point is, if our team's going to be this bad, we have way too loyal of a fan base for how shitty of a team and program we have, to be honest with you. It confuses me. You got to respect the heart of that football program, honestly, of the fans. The program itself is an absolute joke, but we're a basketball school now. ACC champs.
Yeah.
ACC champs. People forget.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how the Hokies do this year for college.
We've got a ton of our guys back. I'm super stoked. We're going to be pretty good again.
I've done some light just research on college basketball, and I've seen Hokies pop up a few times. They got a transfer too, I thought too.
We got a couple. We got a kid from Kentucky who transferred. Yeah. And we have that kid, Grant Basile, from Wright State, who was an absolute menace.
Everyone wanted the kid.
He's a menace. He's going to be really good. So we're replacing Keve Aluma with him. And Keve was really good. Don't get me wrong. And he should have stayed. He's an idiot for leaving because now he's playing over and I don't even know. But our team's going to be really freaking good. Mike Young's a great coach. I'm excited. Basketball school, college basketball, only 40 days away, ladies and gents. That is my favorite sport to bet on and talk about. I am so excited. We're going to make so much money.
I love college basketball, especially early season. There are some you'll see literally 10-point line moves.
Yeah.
It's
because the books are figuring it out too early in the year for college basketball. They don't know shit. The skill discrepancy between the teams at the bottom and the top are insane.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
First bet I ever placed in my life, ever. As soon as I was old, actually it was a couple months after, was college basketball, March Madness, Murray State with Ja Morant outright win in the first game of the March Madness.
That's a good way to get it started, man.
I thought betting was the easiest thing in the world after that. I'm like, yo,
come on. You're like, this thing's easy.
Holy smokes, dude. Yeah. God, that team was awesome, and they were insane against the spread. Insane.
Yeah, it was electric.
Let's get TikTok video, Zach.
Yeah, first bet.
My first ever bet was Ja Morant at Murray State.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to the rest of that, whatever you say. I'm like, all right. I'm all right, Krabs, let's talk a little bit about Joe Burrow deleting social media from his phone.
All he needed was to just delete Twitter and Instagram, and it made his play on the field just significantly better. I guess that's all it was.
Apparently, Joe Burrow is 1-0 against the spread when he deletes social media.
He's 1-0 ATS, 1-0 outright when he has no Twitter and Instagram on his phone. And that had a correlation. It had to have. It's ridiculous.
0 dark 30.
I mean, do what you got to do. But I think it's just an absolute overreaction. If you're not mature enough to put the phone down and go out there and do your job and work, you're an NFL player getting paid bazillions of dollars. If you were on Twitter too much the week before and that's why you played like shit, if there's even a chance of that, that's pretty concerning. I don't know why he would even release this info. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe they just how would they know that he deleted the apps off his phone? He must have said it to the media. Why would you even release it? It makes you look like an idiot. It's like when the Cardinals put in Kyler Murray's contract, he had to study. It's like, why are you throwing yourself under the bus here?
Just leave it up and don't get on it, right?
There we go.
I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but he should know that deleting your social media in 2022 is going to just draw more attention to you, right? Like,
Honda
no.
I don't know if there's sound for this. Yeah, I don't hear any sound. That's okay though. Pretty hilarious though. I mean, dude, like you can't figure it out.
Yeah. I want to definitely talk about the last thing you have here. I mean, we basically discussed Tua and a concussion, but the Max Meyer tweet, and this is actually, I just saw a video on this morning, and it is about Oregon State. And this was a super misleading tweet because basically what happened is Caesars had a lineup there that I believe was at 10.5 or 12.5 for Oregon State as their opener. And it was one of those lines where the books kind of got caught sleeping, as in the book, as in Caesars. And what happened is the rest of the market moved to 6.5, 7, whatever. And this 10.5 or 12.5, I can't remember which one it was still on the board for a while. So what happened is, people started to talk to each other like, hey, this line's still up here, like everywhere else is 6.5. And it got slammed, right? It got destroyed. Everyone was betting it. And some of more money on Oregon State than any of 16 NFL week game spreads, which I don't know if I buy that.
So they literally had this guy tweet this out, and it's not wrong. Like, it wasn't wrong when he tweeted it out. But what they did was they put out a terrible line. They put out that plus 13.5 line that everybody who has a brain hammered the plus 13.5. And then when Circa the next day dropped their line at 5 or whatever it was, 6, everyone was like, what the fuck? And Caesars had this guy tweet that out to get more action on USC, which was pretty fucked up. So if I knew that this happens before the game, I would have absolutely hammered Oregon State, because there's a reason they're trying to cover their ass there. They were like, holy smokes, we have so much money. We're overexposed on Oregon State at this terrible line. We need to get way more money on USC because, number one, we gave the people a great line there. We got to get more money on the other side. And number two, we probably think that Oregon State's going to cover this shit. And I really wish that I saw this and knew that this happened before, but I really didn't find out until, yesterday. Absolutely insane. They didn't lie or anything. That was a true tweet.
It's super misleading.
You want to throw the second tweet up?
Nick and I have always talked about this. Just because, there's a handle one way or another, you have to know what number it was bet at. And in this situation, no one was, or most of the figures here, it was bet at that 13 or 12.5, whatever the number was. Mm-hmm. So it's super misleading, and it makes it worse. Like, it's an employee of Caesars, right? That's what makes this an issue.
It makes me not want to even look at or listen to the tweets from some of these guys who work for the books that tweet out the data like this, because they're tweeting this out for a reason, right? And it was kind of a reality check for me. Like, hey, maybe when a guy who works for a sports book tweets this shit out, maybe he's tweeting it out for a reason. Maybe he's been guided to tweet that out.
Yeah, I think this is
business for losing money.
I think this is super irresponsible of him. Like, it's a blue checkmark guy, whatever. And
well, I'm assuming the sportsbook made him do it. I'm assuming they told him to do it.
Probably, or at least he was, I don't know. He thought he was
definitely directed or guided to tweet that out 100%. I mean, I'm super pissed because this is the reason why I stayed off of Oregon State and I wanted to take them. And this tweet came out earlier this week, and I was like, what the? More bets on them than anything else. I was like, this doesn't even make sense. USC has been one of the most public teams so far this year. I was so confused. Ended up just staying off of it. And I'm pissed because I was going to take Oregon State and they would have covered. So fuck this guy and Caesar Sportsbooks for this shady stuff. Respectfully. This is bullshit.
Yeah. And the funny thing, I think Oregon State ended up covering 6.5 too. But
They
that's
covered it. Yes, it was
besides the point here.
free.
Yeah,
That
was
is
a weird game. That total was, I think, almost 70.
And there was
There
like
were
30
31
points in
points
the game,
scored.
dude. It was nuts. The under was free.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Zach,
And
what are your thoughts on just this tweet as a whole?
I hadn't even seen it go out. I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. I keep seeing guy from BetMGM firing out stats and stuff all the time on what's going on BetMGM and the action that they're taking.
Yep.
I don't know. Personally, it doesn't really play much of a factor into what I'm doing or how I'm looking at games when I see some of the stuff go out. But I can understand how like some other people would look at some of these things or think like in terms of changing what they're going to do. I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting that this is an angle that's been going on at some of these sports books, especially like the bigger ones, because some of the tweets, even the wording in them has been very misleading, especially like when you read through them or it comes up at the top of your timeline, it can be confusing or misleading. I know like certain books, I don't know if we're allowed to say it. His name like Dave Mason. I don't know if you know what book he works for.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I don't know if we're like allowed to talk about what the book is, but they're an offshore book. He tweets out, but he doesn't say it from one perspective of another. He'll be like, this percentage of bets at this price, at this spread has been placed on this team. And then conversely, he'll put like analytics of the other things. And it's not to say one way or another, this action has come in on this team. Like, oh my God, can't believe this is happening. It's just straight up like, here are the stats on this game. And I think like that is much different than when you see a tweet like this one that we're talking about, this Max Meyer one, where he's putting out like these things, like he's putting out extra statements or points on them.
Yeah, I think it's a great point because look at the 49ers Broncos game, right? Like if I look at a handle and I see 80% of the money's on the 49ers, right? Okay, what does that mean? Because if you got in at plus 2.5, plus 1.5, where the line was at for about a day, you won your bet, right? And a lot of sharps came in early. I mean, if you go to my Twitter, I was actually, let's do this real quick. If you can, Zach, if you go to my tweets and replies, you might have to scroll down a little bit to, let's see here. I was talking to this guy, C. Laurel. 24.
Ben, what are you up to here, man?
Oh, you saw that? Yeah. Right when I said that, I was like, "Scotches." No, if you go
That's
down,
actually pretty funny though.
I know. If you go down to C. Laurel's, it's like a little bit down. He was basically saying like San Francisco plus 2.5, money line plus 120 is available, and it won't be for long, right? And he called it, and he bet it, and that's why CLV matters, because he bet the 49ers and he won his bet, right? So going back to the point with the percentages, if you just see the handle is 80% 49ers, like at what number was handle bet at which number, right? So
that's more like my opinion on it is just like, well, what was the number? What was the number? What like that information to me is more important than just like the overall, oh, this amount of handle has come in on this or this percentage. Like what was the number? And then, okay, then maybe that actually has some type of like actionable information in it.
Exactly. 100% agree. Cool. Good learning moment for all of us here. All right.
Yeah, just decipher what's out there. Don't just take it for point blank what it is. Like, okay, even in that situation where you see that Max Meyer tweet, like, I mean, like even Krabs saying, like, you're looking at this and it's just like, well, okay, hold on. What does this mean though? Like, okay, take a second and like think about what's actually happening here, who the person is that's tweeting this out. And then it's like, okay, well, hold on a second. And then make your decisions based on from that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pissed because I would have absolutely hammered Oregon State if I didn't see that tweet. So either it is, I'll just them request the guy.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we should transition over to the next category. Let's do some bearish or bullish.
I shall return to... Oh, hello, balloon. We have a very important thing to do today.
All righty, bear or bowl. So this basically just came out like an hour ago, and that's what the show is here for. We're going to talk about what's fresh and hot.
Sure.
And the Pro Bowl format, brand new. And when I saw this, I was like, finally, because look, the Pro Bowl is freaking dying. I don't know who really watches that. It's bad. It's a lot of things I'd rather do than watch the Pro Bowl, and that's saying a lot. So the NFL is replacing the Pro Bowl with the Pro Bowl games is the name of it, and it's a skill competition, flag football game, and hopefully there's some good bragging rights and maybe some prizes and incentives, because what they had before, it was just kind of blah. And then when they removed the game from Hawaii, that kind of lost its luster. It's in Vegas, which that's a destination, right, Krabs?
Sure. That's a good place.
Yeah. So it looks like, there you go, Nick. Nick's not kidding.
This could be cool. The skills competition could be pretty cool. I don't know if I want to watch, professional football players play flag football. That's more of like me and my friends go out there and do that. I don't know why we are going to watch them. So I am bullish on the new, Pro Bowl, but I'm definitely bearish on the flag football aspect of it. I'm looking forward to the skills part though, and it's got to be better. This whole thing has to be better than what was going on before. If it's not, I'd be shocked. That's why they're making the change. So I'll say I am bullish on on the move here. Yeah.
So the whole thing with flag football, I don't know if a lot of people are thinking of it this way, but it can be pretty dangerous. You can have non-contact issues or injuries, I should say, especially like lower body extremities.
Trying to juke people out, right?
Yeah, and then jumping for the ball, whatever. As far as the contact goes, I get it. There's going to be no concussions, all that. But I've actually noticed that in flag football, I played before. If you have guys who are going super hard, and then you have other guys who are kind of going half-ass, that's where the injuries kind of happen. So they just need to be careful about this with the flag football. The rest of it, I am super bullish on. I think it's a great idea. So I'm trying to pull up some old videos. I guess they were doing they've been doing the skill competition, I guess, the last few years.
They have, and it's been okay. I haven't even watched it the whole time. I just see the highlights on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, that was okay. That was cool.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than what they're doing now, because it's not going to cut it. If it's going to be bad, and if the sport's too dangerous to do some sort of all-star game type thing, then just don't do it. Who gives a shit,
Exactly. That's a good question about the O-line and D-line. I guess technically they could block, but in traditional flag football, there are no
linemen. Dude. They're not going to block shit.
They're just
100 points.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards.
Yeah, that's funny though. That's a good point though.
The real question is, are we going to be able to somehow bet on it? That's what I need to know. Because if I can't bet on that, I'm going to go ahead and change my answer to bearish. How about that? If we can't bet on that,
processing all in real time. If I am a betting man, which I am, this is a lot. If I'm a betting man, which I am, I bet that the NFL having it in Vegas is smart enough to have. Well, it's not really. I guess the NFL can say you can bet on this, and then it's up to the books, and the books are usually going to say yes, we will offer lines. So there you go, Krabs. Maybe we're onto something here.
All right, we might be okay. All right.
So see what happens with that. Let's transition to the MLB Lottery Draft.
Of course, the first year where the Nationals are just absolute dog shit and about to have the worst record in MLB is the year they get rid of the normal draft. So we're not allowed to get the number one overall pick. It's honestly hilarious. Not really surprising at all, because it's a DC sports team, right? Bad things happen to them. They're cursed. Am I high on this? I don't really know. I'd say I'm probably bearish on it because I am biased and I'm really pissed that we're not going to get the number 1 overall pick, guaranteed. So there's my answer.
Yeah, I think the MLB is trying to just get anything that moves the needle and gets people engaged, but I don't know if this is it, right? If you were to set a poll, Krabs, and have like the top 10 things people want change with MLB, or maybe even top 5, number 1's probably like the strike zone, right?
Yeah, let's get
right?
that fixed.
So I feel like the MLB always has their intention in like the wrong spots where they're like, we're doing this, or, oh, we're banning the shift. It's like, all right. I mean, that's a whole discussion, but I think with the strike zone, it's got to be 80% in favor, maybe. With the shift, it's maybe 50-50, it seems, from what I've gathered, very anecdotally, but it just kind of goes to the whole thing with the MLB, like, listen to your fans, right? Just listen to your fans and make the game better in places you can. So, the bigger bases, we have bigger, woo,
Let's make the bases bigger.
Yeah.
Here's my proposal for the MLB draft to make it actually important and make it actually matter. Stop allowing high school kids to get drafted and have like 6 years before they're actually in the process of being able to play. If those kids can play right away, and it's not because they're not eligible to play in the MLB, it's because they're high school kids and they're not ready to play in the MLB. Draft kids after 3rd year of college or 4th year of college, because you're probably going to get less busts. You're probably going to have less guys who are drafted 1st overall or even just high 1st round kids who just don't pan out. Because you know what happens with kids who are in high school? They gain weight, they grow, they get faster, they get stronger, they turn into men. You're drafting high school kids who you're saying 5 years from now, hopefully this kid will turn into the man that can play in the MLB. You don't know. You don't know shit. I mean, like, it's a thing from Moneyball where they're saying, like, it's just like you don't know what that kid's gonna be. Remember, like, the whole thing with Billy Beane, and it's like, oh, hopefully this kid turns into a pro. Well, it didn't work out for him. And I know that's one example that gets highlighted in a very popular movie. That being said, it is something that happens. And then you also have the entire factor of like for lack of a better term, the foreign kids who get signed and they're not drafted and stuff. Put them in the draft too. Then it actually becomes something where it's like, it has meaning, it has impact, it matters. The NBA, you get drafted, there's 2 rounds. It is so important who you pick. And guess what? Those kids from that year, they go right to them at the NBA the next year and they make an impact on your team. In the NFL, every guy who gets drafted is expected to play that next year or hope to play that next year. If not, they're on the practice squad because they're like, hey, we need this guy. Every pick matters in that. The NHL is a little bit different, I will say, because basically, other than like guys who were drafted high in the 1st round, they're not really going to play in that upcoming year. That being said, they're expected to be a part of the program within the next 1 to 2 years. And if you're not, then it doesn't work out, but there's still a lot more opportunity. The MLB draft means nothing. It means nothing. It's so irrelevant.
And here's the issue is, and the difference between NHL and MLB is NHL understands this, right?
Yeah.
They're not putting all this focus on the NHL draft. They're doing other things. And I think the growth that they're seeing over time is by marketing the sport the right way and doing different things. Like the MLB is like, we're going to try to hype up the draft lottery, right? And yeah, Nick and I have talked about this. It doesn't matter. You have the uncertainty. You're basically banking on speculation of these players. And then the draft pools, it's so complicated. Like if my mom's like, hey, Ben, explain to me the MLB draft. It's like, okay, Mom, we're gonna have to go to lunch actually and sit down. Like this is like this is a whole conversation. Like, and my mom understands the NFL draft and she's watching every second of that because it means so much more. So Yeah, MLB has to stop like trying to hype up the draft. They need to fix other things with the game. It's one of those systematic issues. Like they're trying to plug little holes. It's like, no, you need to shut off the fucking faucet. Like, I
imagine the anticipation of the MLB draft if you're going into it and you're like, we could potentially draft a guy right now tonight who's gonna play for us this upcoming season, and then you're waiting for it, and you're like, oh, this could change our team.
But that's not really possible, right? Like that's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
So I agree with the first thing you said, Zach, where I'd be cool with them making it a rule where, the Dominican kids are allowed to get drafted. I think that should be a lock. I don't know why the heck they're not allowed to. I think that's dumb as shit.
Yeah.
That would make more people watch the draft because there's some really good kids who come from down there. And I agree with the thing you said about how maybe they have to make these kids from the U.S. go to college. And maybe that would honestly help with the draft because I feel like, honestly, MLB draft, it's like fucking playing darts with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
These guys take forever, but also it's baseball, and it's, in my opinion, the hardest sport to get to the major league level. It's not like the NBA where these guys are already grown-ass men and they're so fucking athletic, or even if they're only 18 or 19 years old, these kids are built like men and they're ready to roll. Baseball's a little bit different, and it's way harder to get to that final level. So you're going to be in the minors for a little bit, unless you're Bryce Harper or Juan Soto or Steven Strasburg. You're going to have to figure your shit out and slowly move up. That's just how baseball is. It's hard as fuck. Plain and simple. Hitting a major league fastball is nothing like what you're hitting in college. It's going to take you a little bit of seeing some professional arms to get there. It's not like the NBA where the ball is the same size and the hoop is the same size and the court's the same size, right?
Yeah.
Baseball's different, but I agree. Something needs to be done.
No, I agree with you, and that makes complete sense. I think in some ways, though, and I think my point is like it takes away some of the variance in terms of like, oh, you have no idea, and it just gives an opportunity where that guy could be more impactful sooner than 5-6 years down the road. Like you're looking at a guy who either within the next 2 years could help you, not 6 years away.
Yep.
Also, the last thing I want to say about this, Jason Dominguez, the draft pick for the Yankees back in 2020. Like, is he even going to play next year? Like, are we just going to wait till like 2024? Like, that's kind of the issue. Like, imagine drafting LeBron and you're like, all right, he's going to play in 4 years. Like
that's why it's not exciting. 100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
It is what it is. So, all right, enough talking about baseball. No. Let's see here. Do you have anything else that we want to talk about here? I know we got about 30 minutes, Krabs, or you want to move on to hot takes?
Let's see. I want to talk about Jalen Hurts a little bit. We should probably talk about that briefly here. We got a couple tweets up for that. Jalen Hurts, some people are acting like he's, going to win the MVP. He's looked incredible. I think he's awesome, and I've had him in fantasy football the last couple of years. The dude's been an absolute dog. I really like what I've seen out of him. I hope, Cam, kick rocks. I hope, Jalen Hurts continues to ball for my fantasy team, and I think he will. I think he's very, very good. But to be honest with you, Ben, I think anybody could be pretty damn good in that offense, in that system. And Jalen Hurts is still a little inaccurate throwing. Saw it again yesterday. Am I bullish on him overall? Yes, but like the second tweet I shared where his MVP odds are getting, really close. Honestly, he might end up being the favorite if the Eagles keep playing like this for a couple more weeks. I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And once he starts facing some good teams and not some NFC East cheese, he might run into some issues here. I really think so. And I also think that pretty much any quarterback that you plug into that offense right now is going to be successful. They're going to thrive. Because they're just that good. That's an above average roster, and I like the coach Sirianni. I really do. He's a football guy. I knew he was going to be a great coach when I saw how terrible his intro presser was. The dude's a fucking freak, not a media guy, football guy, and I knew we were fucked from that day. But I will say I'm not as bullish on Jalen Hurts to win the MVP as everyone else is. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, if we have updated odds, I'm interested to see. But
there we go. Boom.
Yeah, I'm with you, Krabs. I mean, here's the thing. Hurts was probably around 20-1, 25-1 before the season started, and you're just buying the stock at the peak, more or less, right? Like, I can't do it.
It's too late.
Yeah. So
as soon as he has a bad game, as soon as their offense doesn't score, as soon as they lose, his odds are going to double.
Yeah. So Nick's not going to like to hear this, but there have been certain schemes and teams that can really slow down running quarterbacks, and we've seen that a few times with the Ravens, right? A lot of it's scheme, but some of it is personnel. Like you really need athletic DNs, and the DNs and linebackers really have to be on the same page, because the gap integrity and those who have contain, if they screw up, then Lamar and guys like Hurts can literally just run out of the pocket. And then they get into one of those positions where it's like, all right, I have a guaranteed 5-yard run, right? Maybe even more, or I could throw the ball, where they're kind of running parallel to the line of scrimmage. And that's the thing with Hurts is I totally agree. He can throw in the pocket too, but he also has all sorts of weapons outside. So Russell Wilson MVP. Yeah, he's going to need to put up some more touchdowns for that. I wonder what his odds are at right now. Hey, buy low, Nick. Yeah. Anyways, I saw someone bought a Jimmy G MVP ticket. Did you guys see that one on Twitter? It was before the game. Someone put, I think, a dime on that. So kind of goes back to the whole thing with these tweets. Like, people love tweeting that out because they get so much engagement, right? Like, it is what it is. Who do the Eagles have up next? They have a pretty easy schedule the next few games, right? I think they have the Bears, the Jags, someone was telling me.
I mean, the Jags, don't let the Jags get hot. I think the Jags are officially a pretty decent team, straight up. They play the Jags, and then they play the Cards, Cowboys, Steelers. So games they should all win, but weird games for sure.
Okay, Cam, I'm giving the Eagles credit. I love the weapons they have. Anytime you have two corners who can guard one-on-one, and you have two wide receivers who can make plays, and a quarterback, like, you're in a really good position. But I'll tell you this, Cam, Eagles, Bills, neutral setting. I'm taking Bills. So,
I mean, yeah,
that's not even that's not a hot take. So, I just want to make sure that we're kind of on the same page here, chat. Like, if we're saying Eagles, then we're like, whoa, like, that's where you need to pump the brakes. So, we're on the same page, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't have to lie to me, Zach.
Are we on the same page about this? Hey.
I was trying to find this.
Wait, what?
Russell Wilson on the Broncos. It's literally just washed Donovan McNabb on the Skins.
God, why did I forget Donovan McNabb was on the Skins?
Because he was so bad.
What the heck?
He was terrible, dude. Terrible.
There's some. We should do a game show where it's just like the last team or a team players have played on. Like, Allen Iverson was on the Grizzlies. Like, just random shit where people are like, "Wait, he was?" You're like, Shaq was on the Suns. Like, there's a lot of weird.
I think though, like, any team you tell me that Shaq was on, I'm not gonna be not shocked. Like, there's some other players be like, "What?"
Best example, but yeah, I agree. Shaq also was on. He was on the Suns.
He was on the Celtics, wasn't he?
The Celtics.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Lakers,
the Cavs.
Cavaliers.
We know he's on the Heat. We knew that.
The Cavs is a weird one. Yeah.
Magic.
Magic started his career. Yeah. Wow.
Who
Shaq was on the Maple Leafs. Yeah. Hey, Shaq could have played goalie.
Imagine Shaq on ice. Hey, I've always wondered why NHL teams don't just find the fattest dude on earth and just stick him in front of the goal and just take up the entire goal.
Pretty explain it to me.
Huh?
It's something to do with the pads. Like, you can't have Zach. Maybe I'm talking out my ass right now.
No, it's just because goaltending has actually, like, in the NHL, I would agree with you that probably a while ago that would have been applicable, but goaltending has actually just got to the point where the goalies are some of the most athletic people on an NHL team. Like they are the best. Goaltenders are often considered the best skaters on a team because yes, because they are so agile, good on their skates. They are very quick. They're obviously held down by a lot of heavy gear, but they are just like so good on their feet, on their skates. They have great technique in terms of like how they move around. They are actually very, very agile. And then the other thing that like sets them apart, just like last point on the goaltenders, is their ability to actually be a part of the play. So when pucks get dumped in, if they're a goaltender who's able to like get the puck and play it and get out to pucks quickly, like it sets them out. It sets them apart from other goaltenders. That's the only thing. I know you're saying, you know what sport they are heavy boys though, Krabs? You watch it. It's lacrosse. Oh, they are heavy boys. And the heavier they are, the better, man.
Blaze Reardon, the MVP last year. That dude is not small. He's not good. He's not skinny.
Yeah.
Takes up the whole goal. That's what I'm talking about.
And Nick, to your comment, look up Eddie Gaedel. Gaedel.
You'll never seen Altuve?
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't tell me whether it's how it should be or not. You can't tell me that Aaron Judge doesn't have a bigger strike zone than Jose Altuve. He just does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, Nick, why does Altuve have a better non-strikeout rate?
Bad example. The buzzer.
Why?
Because he's a cheater, bro. He's a cheater, man.
Okay. I thought you were going with somewhere. Okay, that's fair.
Oh man,
hit the buzzer.
Yeah,
you should have a buzzer, Zach. Just when you say something that's incorrect or just really stupid, you hit the buzzer.
I think I'd be getting buzzed left and right.
I was like, I don't know about that. We would get through like one category or one.
I don't know about this whole buzzer thing.
All right, let's transition. Let's get into some hot takes.
Man's not hot.
If the Houston Texans pass on Johnny Manziel, they will forever regret it.
I want Iguodala.
This is a story that I just don't buy. Durant to the Warriors.
There's no way we trade our most valuable assets mid-season with new ownership coming in. People are saying, I'm seeing graphics of him in a Padres uniform. I'm like, give me a freaking break. He's not going to the freaking Padres. Anytime I watch that, I lose my mind. It's
great.
Like Krabs, I honestly didn't think that the whole he's not going anywhere take was that bad. I really didn't. I understood how it was like some over the hot take. It was the fact that you specifically said
talk about the Padres.
Yeah, the Padres. He's not going to the
Padres. Come on, he's not going there. You kidding me? Well, maybe you shouldn't have gone to the Padres.
Krabs, I swear in the back of my mind when you said that the first time, I was like, it'd be so funny if this actually happened. But I didn't say it. I was thinking it though. I'm like, what are the chances? I was like, I actually don't think he's going to get traded. So I just agreed.
It's stuff like that where I just think I'm in a simulation. You know, it's incredible.
All right, Krabs. Let's start with you because I have a pretty scorching hot take that people are going to maybe freak out on. So we'll start with yours first.
Sure. My hot take is that Sean Payton will be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. I've already seen it. It's coming. It's happening. He did not retire at that young of an age. You know, when Pete Carroll's still running around at 70 plus. You know, like a madman. Sure. I think Sean Payton. It's already written in the stars that this dude's about to take over this Cowboys team next year. I think Mike McCarthy, especially with Dak going down here, like if they're losing to the Giants tonight, which they for sure could, I think they probably will. Not a great start. Yeah, there's definitely a chance. And I think he's already addressed, you know, he made comments literally within a week ago where he was talking about how, if the right opportunity comes up, sure, I'll make a move and coach a team. I don't think he retired to retire. I think he retired because he could, because he's got such a big name. And out of respect, people weren't like, all right, you just want to leave this shitty Saints team because they're dog shit. And we know Sean Payton, you know, he might not be the most stand-up guy. And, you know, with all the, you know, attacking people for money, you know, that stuff happened when he was the head coach. People forget that. And I think he's kind of a me guy a little bit and was like, fuck this. I might be the most legendary Saints coach ever, but this team sucks. I'm going to move and go on to somebody else. But for me not to look like such a dick, I'm going to just retire for a year or two, spend some time with the fam, maybe go on, get my bag on NBC or whatever broadcasting he's doing. He's doing something right now. As soon as he retired, I kind of knew that he was kind of not done. He made comments the other day saying I think he's going to come back. He said, yeah, if the opportunity's right, sure, I'll come back. The Cowboys. I mean, I feel like it's written in the stars. He's got kids who go to TCU. He's got family already down there in Texas. So I think it's meant to be. I really do. I think it might be my most mild take yet.
Yeah.
Chat was underwhelmed there, but I think it's good.
Yeah.
Mild. I'd say mild.
Mild. I agree.
What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I think it's mild. I'm honestly in complete agreement with Krabs here. And the other thing is, I think Jerry Jones is just legitimately waiting every second to just fire McCarthy. I think he's just done with this guy. I don't think he likes him.
I think the only reason he likes him and he stayed around, after a terrible underperforming season last year is because he can just kind of work him like a puppet and he'll just do whatever Jerry says. So, Sean Payton, if there's an opportunity to get him in the house, I'm sure Jerry will get it done and make it happen.
Yeah, he's waiting.
As a Commanders fan, that's the last thing I want to see because I have no issues going up against Mike McCarthy, just like I had no issues going up against Jason Garrett, right? Zero issues at all. So I'm not afraid to play those guys when they have those coaches at the helm. I would be afraid to play against Sean Payton because he's one of the best coaches of our generation. So would be another common L for the Commanders. Maybe you never know. You never know. Maybe Kellen Moore can come over and be a coach and quarterback for us next year. Who knows?
Well, I mean, Commanders might get Stroud at this point, right?
Yeah. Let's take him. Let's do it. Let's anything. Let's do
Is that the guy, when they're always like tank for whoever? Is that who we're gonna?
I guess. I mean, who knows with these guys, man?
Bryce
We'll find some way to fuck it up, dude.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson, I'm showing is in the top 10 for some mocks. Ugh.
No.
Will Levis. Also, I want to say one thing too about mock drafts at this point. It will change heavily. So
it's going to change after every college football week of football. Literally, it's going to change.
Rattler was a top 10 draft pick at this time, like early season last year. Just let that sink in. Yeah.
Nuts.
All right, ready for this hot take?
What do you got?
I'm curious how Krabs is going to take this one, but Aaron Judge's 61st home run in that whole race doesn't matter. And I'm sick and tired of people hyping this up like it's more impressive than Pujols' 700th. It's not, first and foremost. The 700th home run, in my opinion, is way more of a feat, and the amount of attention that has in comparison to this home run race is, I think it's night and day.
It's disrespectful to Albert Pujols.
Yeah, it really is. I put up some tweets here, Zach, but they're cutting away from like college football to show this, which I mean, I get it. It's 61. It's Aaron Judge. It's the Yankees, but it's not the home run record. And I know the whole argument that it's the record without steroid use is what I'm hearing, right? If you look at the guys ahead of him, it's Sosa, McGuire, Bonds, and it would tie, I think, Maris, right, is 61. And ESPN is just shoving this down our throats, man. Like, I was just trying to watch a college football game, and I have to see a split screen of Aaron Judge. Like, if
you got to watch the cutaway of Aaron Judge striking out twice.
Yeah,
it's fucking hilarious, dude. I've heard so much fucking Judge talk, and I heard zero Pujols talk, and the dude hit 2 bombs in one night to break the record and get 700 home runs, and nobody gives a shit. But it's Aaron Judge on the Yankees, so let's talk about that more. He's huge and really cool and hits bombs really far. I don't give a fuck about Aaron Judge breaking a Yankees record. He plays in the smallest park in the MLB, And he's probably hitting juice baseballs because the thing's probably fucking rigged because he's on the Yankees.
Mm-hmm. And I actually did some research. 3 of those home runs to the right short porch wouldn't have been home runs. He had 3 unicorns this year. So we're going to play this game of how steroid use is taken away from those guys. It's like, all right, we could play the same game and say that the short porch has taken away 3 of your home runs, right? And we can actually quantify that. So I think it's kind of silly how the MLB is pumping this up. And Chase, I mean, you're going to be dropping a couple racks for those seats. I'm just letting you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's my take here. I think it does not mean as much as we're all giving it credit for, or at least what ESPN's trying to say it's worth that much. It's not the MLB record. And look, if this was a guy on the Nationals or Rockies or Mariners, they're not cutting away from college football to show that. But it's Aaron Judge. Oh, there you go. Billy the Kid said it. If this is on the Pirates, yeah, no one would even know it happened.
Nobody would give a shit. Yep. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I am extremely happy by this take, and I want to hug you right now, Ben. Yes.
You know what's funny is I think a lot of people like deep down felt the same way, but they were just kind of indifferent.
I don't know, because I've been kind of chirping Aaron Judge the whole week, and I've been hearing it. I've been hearing some backlash.
That's
what I've been doing all weekend, bro. I mean,
that's the Yankees fan, right? You know.
Yeah, that's all and there's a lot of them, and some of them are fans of the team for no reason when they should just root for their local team. But have you seen what I've been doing all weekend? I've been taking Judges under the whole series, just rolling over the profits every night, and it's paid out.
Yeah, I think those are I actually had a buddy who threw those on a few parlays, starting on Thursday, I think.
Juice them up a little bit, juice the odds up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're getting like minus 250 to not hit a home run. Like that's insane value. But I get why the books are doing it, because this is like the Steph Curry like 3-point race thing. Like everyone was trying to bet his over, and it took him 3 games because he obviously was on his mind, right? And it took him 3 games. So a lot of people lost money, and I guarantee a lot of people have been doing the opposite of this and trying to bet overs for home runs. Like, oh, Judge is gonna hit it. It's on TV, and then
the Hard Rock fucking tweeted out, and this is when I did it the first time. I think it was Friday, and the Hard Rock tweeted out the picture of the odds, and I went through their account. They get no engagements. They barely ever tweet. So as soon as I saw them tweet out like the screenshot of Aaron Judge's home run pop talking about, oh, will he get it done or whatever, I fucking responded to their tweets, and I said, I'm fading the shit out of this tweet, is what I said. You could probably click on the Hard Rock Twitter and scroll down to find it, but
I remember seeing that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, they tweeted a screenshot of the odds, and I responded. I was like, yeah, I'm fading the hell out of this tweet.
Guys, can we just quickly make it very clear? What are you doing if you catch the ball? You're not giving it back, right? 0% chance.
No, dude. I'm selling the living shit out of it, and I'm moving to Cabo.
Thank you.
I don't. Is it that hard?
I have a take on this. So, first of all, I think this kid has rich parents, and he knows that he didn't need the money.
There it is. Scroll down.
230. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
okay, so check this out. So this kid, I feel like he's gonna like apply for some job at like a hedge fund, and he's gonna go to the hiring manager, and they're gonna say like, what's your proudest moment in life? And he's gonna say, man, I got the Aaron Judge ball and I gave it back to him. And then I think the hiring manager is gonna be like, wait, you did what?
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, yeah, I gave the ball, I did the right thing. And then he's gonna be like, what do you mean you did the right thing? You just left $2 million on the table. We can't have you work for this corporation.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. And then they walk out of the interview, and that's it.
And everyone spits in his face and punches him on the way out and calls him useless, calls him an idiot.
Yeah.
That's how I picture that going, yes.
I am 100% negotiating. Like,
you give the ball back by selling it to them for an incredible amount of money.
Or put it up for auction.
That's how you give the ball back. Yes.
Every single person should have learned their lesson when they saw that Tom Brady ball situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like when he gets the golden ticket.
Oh,
Yeah.
but like the guy who gets that ball is getting the shit kicked out of him in the crowd, and people like I would not be surprised if
I'm
bad
going.
people were in that crowd. You know?
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
you're in a pile, Zach. Like,
you know, security is going to come in and find you and get you as soon as it happens. Like guarantee it. But
hold
like,
on
dude,
to that, like a football.
It's like a fumble in the dog pile. Literally, like there's going to be people like probably trying to punch you and beat the shit out of you to get that ball straight up.
If Zach, I'm not kidding. If Zach Hampel like hypothetically got the ball, I really think someone would like choke him out and try to knock him out.
I think he would get hurt. Yeah, straight up. That guy blows. That's the worst.
Yeah, I did know that about Billy. Billy the Kid said, for these games they have special, like code or like some sort of authentication tool that you can cross reference. So someone's not like, oh, here's the ball. It's from fucking.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet the guy who's fucking caught that ball was getting his ass kicked. 100%. 100%. I'm fucking running out of that bitch. I'm out of there.
Look what Billy said.
Probably not, Billy. Probably not. I guarantee you there'd be some grown-ups, though. There'd be some grown-ups that would probably go and try to grab that ball from you. Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's 100%. Weirdos out there. Yes.
Also, what if Judge doesn't hit 61?
I would be ecstatic. I'll throw a party.
He has 5 games left.
Fly you guys in. I'll fly you and Zach in. We'll have a party.
How many games does the Yankees have left?
I'm rooting for he doesn't get it at least through the next, what is it, Krabs? 3 games, right?
Yeah,
they're playing the Jays.
Game series against the Blue Jays. Yeah, I'm about to take the under again today and roll over the winnings. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, he has 10 games, so he's probably hitting it.
Well, he's only gonna have 7 after, so don't worry about it.
Oh, after the Jays?
Yeah, after the Jays.
Who do we got on the mound?
I know Gosman is tonight.
Oh, Gosman. See, Gosman actually scares me because Gosman's gonna fucking throw some gas right down the middle.
Well, Judge has decent numbers against him. They were showing it last night. He's got decent numbers against Gosman. And he's got like 3 home runs off of him, so it could happen tonight.
And Barrios, and then
Barrios is the turkey tosser. So I don't know if I'll be taking the under when Barrios is pitching.
Oh man, that makes it so tough because you don't want to be that pitcher who gives it up. But with Gosman, it would be so obvious if he's trying to pitch around Judge because of the way he pitches, right? Like,
yeah,
it could be tonight, but
just
I don't
walk him every AB.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, straight up. Why are they pitching to him? I don't get it. Don't even throw him strikes. It's insane.
Yeah.
You want to go over this trap line really quick? I can keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, let's play the clip. I like the clip. Let's play it.
What?
It's a trap.
Oh, yeah. All right. Right there. Gotcha. The fisherman.
The fisherman. Bro, SpongeBob, man, is such a good show, guys. If you haven't watched SpongeBob, you're missing out.
Who the heck doesn't watch SpongeBob? Grow up. All right, yeah, there is a trap line tonight, though. Unfortunately, it's in MLB. But there's an interesting line, and it's Baltimore-Boston. I mean, technically, the Orioles are still, alive, and they're trying, right? They're trying to win these games. We're seeing the Red Sox, who are completely out of it, and they're terrible. They've got Seabolt up on the bump tonight, who has an 11 ERA. He's 0-3. This guy stinks up against Jordan Lyles, and the Red Sox are the favorite tonight, where they have nothing to play for. I thought this was insanely weird. We're seeing the total here is at 9.5. It's probably going to close at 10 because it's pretty juiced to the over on almost all the books. Looks like it's moving that way, which tells me runs. And that's probably not a good thing for Jordan Lyles because we already know Seabolt's going to give up runs. He sucks. But if this total's that high and moving up, that tells me it's a huge red flag for the better pitcher, which is Jordan Lyles in the spot. And everybody knows Jordan Lyles on the road is way worse than at home. So I think he's going to get absolutely destroyed tonight. And I think the Red Sox win this game straight up. Yeah, somebody in chat already knew it, right? They said it's going to be the Red Sox. Yeah, you probably commented that when the fucking segment was starting.
Yeah, they did.
100%. Everyone's going to be on the Orioles. Billy the Kid saying everyone he knows is on the Orioles. Yeah, the wind's blowing out in Fenway. I think the Red Sox bats get it going. I mean, the Sox also have lost a bunch of games in a row too. This is like the weirdest line ever. I hate to be betting meaningless baseball games, but I guess the Orioles technically do have something to play for, which makes this line, I think, weird and important. And I think we should probably take the Red Sox tonight. I really do.
It's actually not a bad look because I've noticed, and I don't have any numbers to really show this, but bettors see these spots and they say, man, the Orioles, they have to win. The Red Sox have nothing to play for. I've seen this many times too with NFL. I guarantee you that the Red Sox at this point, they want to just play spoiler. That playing spoiler is fun because you don't really have any pressure, right? It's kind of like a free roll in betting, right? You're just like, put $100 on this. It's a free bet, right?
Yep.
That's kind of the mentality I think the Red Sox have headed into this game where it's just kind of like, fuck it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox are probably pretty fucking disappointed in them missing out on the playoffs this year with how bad they played, and they're probably pretty jealous and pissed off at the Orioles for being better than them. So I do think they'll be at least hungry enough to get this win and play spoiler, like you said. And that line tells me everything I need to know. So sketch. Yeah, like Nick said, you always have something to play for because, these guys have to, stay on contract or some of these guys got to get new deals next year. Everyone's trying to play as good as they can, at least when they're, in the batter's box or in the field. You know what I mean? They might not have, all the energy of a playoff team fighting for it in the dugout or before or after the game. But once they step in that damn box, they're still grinding to get their stats up. You know what I mean? I hate when people say a team has zero to play for, and I'm very happy Capitalized Nick said that in chat.
Unless you're the Tigers. No, I'm just kidding.
The Tigers.
God, what the fuck Tigers this year? They had so many injuries, but I'll tell you what, I was really wrong on their win total, and obviously injuries are hard to predict, but ugh.
Yeah. They have AJ Hinch, who's a good manager, although he's a cheater. He'll get that team right, I think, and they'll move in the right direction. But
yeah, Casey Mize, Scooble, they have a lot of young talent, but I mean that's half of it, right? I mean, the Rockies have had good young talent forever.
Yeah.
People could be like, hey, how's that young talent? And you could be like, they're now 45 years old. Yeah, I actually thought the Tigers could win that division.
Oh God.
I was really off on the Tigers.
Maybe next year.
Yep.
Maybe next year. You want to briefly talk about Monday Night Football real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about it, and then I know you have to hop off here. Yeah. My thoughts on Monday Night Football. I know a lot of people are just running to bet the under, but I mean, Cooper Rush is a guy who he can score points, man. Like he can get drives and get the offense going. For me, I think that Ezekiel Elliott touchdown is probably my favorite. Get him in the red zone. Everyone's going to be on Saquon props today. I get it. What's Sterling Shepard's receiving yards at? And then Krabs, you can give your spiel on this game. Okay.
45.
I got it at 42.5. I know that doesn't mean anything now, but I think 44.5 is still a good number.
You want to lock that in?
I had it at 37.5.
Yeah.
37.5.
Yeah, because let's see. They have injuries. They have let's see here. I was talking to Nick about this. That David Sills? Their wide receiver. He's the starting wide receiver for the Giants. And I was telling Nick this was probably the only guy who plays wide receiver in the NFL that I couldn't name what school he went to or if I even heard of him. Isn't that crazy? Do you guys even know who David Sills is?
No.
I don't.
He's the starting wide receiver for the Giants.
Jesus, dude.
White dude from where did he go to school? See, I don't even know.
He went to USC. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do know this kid, actually. He transferred from West Virginia because he sucked. He was a really high prospect at West Virginia. He was terrible. He transferred to USC. I do know this kid.
Yeah. Tony's out. Galladay is in, but what the fuck is Galladay doing these days? That was a good call by me, by the way. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for all the
Sure.
time I was chirping him in training camp. Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing: if you're half-assing routes like that on camera, that is a tall tale sign that something's going on, and it carried over to the season. So
He's just not good, man. And he's just collecting checks.
He's gonna ask for a trade or some shit, and
They're gonna
Saquon's number's so high, man. I mean,
I like his under straight up. I mean, look at the tweets that I sent or put in the outline. I mean, everyone's all over these Saquon props. They're taking them left and right today. Not a shocker. So I might look to take his unders today, plain and simple.
I totally agree. Yeah.
It's way too bad. I also think I'm getting vibes of the Zeke has scored a touchdown in the last 4 games. Yeah, we like Zeke to score too. We already locked that in.
Awesome. Great. It's good to hear that. Now I have my supporting argument, because before I was just like,
damn, plus 160 on FanDuel now. Fuck.
I mean,
that's okay. But my point is, this game gives me, what was the Thursday night game that sucked that everyone was on the under?
Steelers.
It was the Steelers and the, why am I having a blank? Mind blank.
Steelers and Browns.
Steelers and Browns. When everybody was on the under saying the trend was going to continue, I took the over because I think those offenses sucked and the under made way too much sense. I'm getting the same exact vibes with this game tonight.
Same.
It's almost at the same number. I want to take the over. I think offenses are going to do shit. I've been impressed with what I've seen out of Daniel Jones this year so far. And I think the Cowboys are going to score. Like you said, Cooper Rush is not as bad as people think. And he's perfect against the spread. I think he's 2-0. So give me the over in this game. Give me Zeke to score a touchdown. If you like Shepard, I might take his over in a prize picks or something. I don't think this is going to be, as much of an NFC East shit show under as we usually get. Not in the spot. The under makes way too much sense. Give me the over.
Yo, get busy, Dizzy. You got a line shop. Zeke to score a TD is plus 105 on my book. You're leaving money on the table, brother.
Yeah, come on, man. Maybe he doesn't have an option. Maybe he's not in a legal state yet. But if you do have an option, shop around. All right?
Or maybe he just moved to an illegal state.
He's in Rhode Island. He's chalked. He's chalked.
Also, last thing here, I need 3 points from Pollard to win my fantasy matchup. So last night in my league, my dad was playing one of my friends, and my dad had Debo, and the guy he's going up against had Russ. And Russ, let's see here, I don't know what his number is at, but anyways, he's up 0.2 points, right? And the last kneel downs ended up costing him, and my dad ended up winning because Russ lost 3 yards, and my dad won by 0.1 yard because he got -3. My friend who had Russ. Isn't that a crazy
dude? Unbelievable. That's like if you had Chase Claypool's over receiving yards. I feel so bad for you.
Dude,
he had it the whole game, and then that stupid play at the end where he lost a couple yards. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we went in depth with that one on Friday and talked about that and figured it out. What a weird rule.
That can cover our bad beat segment, for today. Because that's a bad one. Holy smokes.
All righty.
Happy you made it on. I'm impressed, man. You were just boozing hard last night at the Broncos game.
What's funny is I drank a few beers at the tailgate, and I didn't end up going to the game, and then I had to chill for a little bit because I had to drive. And then when I got home, that's when I went crazy. I mean, watching that game, I had to be drinking, right?
Yeah, it was so exciting.
Oh man,
I'm just jealous.
We got some good freaking content, man. I'm excited for Zach to cook up a video here, hopefully in the next few days. So looking forward to it.
Hondo Pay.
Good stuff, guys. If anybody's also interested for more content as well, coming up later today live, we will have the Brad Powers and Joey Knish college football stream. They'll give out some picks for the week. Those lines that they give out will move at some point during the week as well. So if you want to get in there, make sure you check that out, the Hammer NCAA football. And then coming up, Ben, you have your pregame stream tonight. And then after Ben's stream will be Rob Zola and Eric Eager from Pro Football Focus. They will be previewing the Monday Night Football game between Cowboys and Giants. And Rob is a huge Cowboys fan, so that'll be an interesting one as well.
W. That's a
Sounds
huge
good.
W. Let's go. Rare Cowboys W. Having Rob.
Yeah. All right, guys, appreciate it. Make sure to hit that follow button too. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, and if you're on Twitch, hit that follow. And then I think Krabs is going live too, so you can catch him over on the Book It stream. So I appreciate it, guys. We will talk to you guys later.
Peace.